All right, listen up, you aspiring titans. Jordan Belfort here, your personal guide through the jungle of ambition and the high-stakes game of life. Today, we're not talking about some soft, touchy-feely motivation that leaves you feeling good for 5 minutes and then wondering why nothing's changed. No, no, no. We're ripping off the Band-Aid and exposing the raw, brutal truth about power. The kind of power that's not taught in your fancy universities or whispered in self-help seminars. This is the unwritten law. The unspoken code that separates the lions from the sheep, the winners from the whiners. You ever wonder why some people just seem to accelerate through life while others stay stuck in the same damn loop? Same job, same mindset, same frustrations. It's not luck. It's not destiny. It's a ruthless understanding of how the world actually works, not how you wish it worked. And today I'm going to lay it all bare. We're talking about the 4 immutable rules of power that once mastered will make you untouchable. Ignore them, and you'll forever be a pawn in someone else's game, running on their treadmill, building their dreams instead of your own. So if you're tired of being pushed around, if you're sick of watching others get ahead while you grind in obscurity, if you're ready to seize control of your destiny and build an empire that makes the world bend to your will, then strap in, because by the end of this, your mindset will be rewired, your vision will be crystal clear, and you'll have the blueprint to command your future like the true wolf you were born to be. Let's dive in, shall we? Now let's cut through the noise and get straight to the meat of it. The world, my friends, operates on a hidden system, a deep game with rules that are rarely, if ever, explained. But the successful, the truly powerful, they don't just know these rules, they live them, they embody them, and that's why they win. It's time for you to do the same. Rule #1. The world doesn't reward talkers, it rewards doers. This isn't kindergarten, folks. We're not here for show and tell. The biggest misconception out there, the one that keeps 99% of people stuck in mediocrity, is the idea that knowing is enough. That reading a book, watching a video, or attending a seminar is going to magically transform your life. It won't. It's just entertainment if you don't act. You can read every book, listen to every podcast, consume every single piece of content on success, but if you never apply what you've learned, you're not growing, you're just collecting. Success doesn't come from what you know, it comes from what you practice. Let me repeat that. 1 hour of practice beats 10 hours of theory. Why? Because action is where skill is born. You don't become a speaker by reading about speaking. You become a speaker by speaking. You don't get fit by studying exercise routines. You get fit by exercising. You don't master anything by sitting on the sidelines. You master it by stepping into the arena. Most people make a critical mistake. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until they're confident. They wait until everything is perfect. But here's the cold, hard truth. Confidence doesn't come before action. Every time you practice, you get sharper. Every time you try, you get better. Every time you show up, you grow up. So what does this mean for your life? It means you stop procrastinating. You stop overthinking. You stop waiting for a miracle. You take what you've learned and you apply it. Even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's awkward, just start. Because doing turns knowledge into power. And 1 hour of bold, focused, imperfect action can do more for your life than a lifetime of thinking about it. So remember, your brain, your nervous system, it doesn't care about your goals or your intentions. It cares about what you do repeatedly. Patterns, repetition, behavior. The nervous system is shaped by action, not emotion, not intention. Action. The elite performers, the ones who dominate, they build a relationship with boredom, with fatigue, with discomfort. They don't run from the hard days. They anticipate them because they understand the brain's plasticity window. The idea that what you do when it's hardest is what gets carved deepest into your neural architecture. So force yourself to be consistent. Not once, not twice, but every single time you said you would. Why? Because your brain is watching. Your nervous system is adapting. Every time you choose to stay the course, to show up, to do the reps, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, you are training your future self. Forcing yourself doesn't make you rigid. It makes you resilient. It doesn't limit your freedom. It builds it. Because the person who can do the hard thing when it doesn't feel good, when no one is clapping, when everything in their biology says stop, That person is untouchable. That person becomes unbreakable. Your goals don't care how you feel. Neurochemistry doesn't care about your excuses. You either show up or you don't. And when you show up over and over and over without permission from your emotions, you begin to change neurobiologically, psychologically, physically. You become the kind of person who finishes what they start. So, stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop hoping it will get easier. Force it again and again and again. Because consistency under duress, that is where transformation lives. And your brain is listening every single time. This is the brutal truth about becoming a millionaire. It's not about being clever, it's about being consistent, it's about doing the damn work, especially when the initial dopamine hit has worn off. You think I got rich by wishing, by talking about it. No, I got rich by acting. And I kept acting, even when I was terrified, even when I faced setbacks, even when the world told me I was crazy. Because the man who acts eventually gets what he wants. But the man who waits gets nothing but regret. Rule #2, silence is your ultimate weapon. In a world drowning in noise, silence is your competitive advantage. Most people talk to fill space, to gain validation, to prove something. But the most powerful individuals, they don't speak unnecessarily. They listen, they observe, they calculate, and when they finally speak, every word carries weight. Silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to second guess themselves, to analyze your thoughts, to wonder what you're thinking. In a conversation, the one who speaks less holds more control. Words reveal, but silence conceals. When you master the art of silence, you shift power dynamics in your favor. You gain control over conversations, over situations, over how people perceive you. Think about it, most people are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill it with explanations, justifications, unnecessary words. But when you hold back, you force others to reveal themselves. The more they speak, the more they expose their thoughts, their insecurities, their intentions. Meanwhile, you remain a mystery. And in that mystery lies power. Imagine being in a negotiation. The person across from you presents an offer and expects an immediate response. But instead of reacting, you pause. You let silence stretch. The longer you wait, the more unsettled they become. They start second guessing. They fill the silence with better terms, with compromises, with desperation. Why? Because silence creates tension, and tension creates leverage. The same principle applies in everyday interactions. The next time someone insults you, stay silent. Most people expect a reaction, anger, defense, retaliation. When you give them nothing, they lose power over you. They start wondering if their words had any effect. They start feeling foolish. Your silence forces them to deal with their own emotions rather than feeding off yours. Silence is also a tool for observation. When you talk less, you notice more. You see the hesitation in someone's voice, the nervous shift in their posture, the contradiction in their words. Most people miss these cues because they're too busy speaking. But when you master silence, you become a strategist. You gather information while revealing nothing in return. There's a reason the world's most influential figures are not the loudest in the room. They are the ones who choose their words with precision. They do not waste energy on meaningless chatter. They understand that speaking less does not mean knowing less. On the contrary, it means knowing more. If you want to cultivate power through silence, start practicing restraint. The next time you're in a conversation, pause before speaking. Observe the room. Listen more than you talk. Let others reveal themselves first. The less you say, the more people will lean in when you finally speak. Another way to harness silence is to embrace it in moments of high emotion. When you're angry, stay silent. When you're insulted, stay silent. When someone demands an immediate response, delay it. The ability to control your speech in intense situations is the ultimate demonstration of discipline, and discipline commands respect. Powerful people are not reactive. They do not let emotions dictate their words. They understand that silence can be a response in itself. A pause can say more than a sentence. A moment of quiet can shift an entire interaction. The greatest breakthroughs happen in silence. Not when you're explaining yourself, not when you're proving your worth to others, but when you're sitting quietly, doing the work no one sees. This isn't spiritual fluff, this is neuroscience. The absence of noise activates the brain's default mode network, this internal world where self-awareness, introspection, and future planning live. Silence isn't emptiness, it's information. And those who learn to sit with it, who learn to focus inward, unlock something far more powerful than external validation. They unlock control. Most people spend their energy projecting outward, scrolling, comparing, explaining, defending. But the human brain wasn't designed to process 10,000 opinions a day. It was designed to scan the environment, assess threats, and refine behavior. You can't refine anything if you're too busy reacting. Every moment you spend explaining yourself is a moment stolen from adapting and evolving. You need to get comfortable being misunderstood, because if you are truly evolving, you will confuse the people who are not, and that's okay. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them doubt. You don't need to defend your process, you need to trust it. Real power doesn't make noise. Lions don't roar when they hunt. Surgeons don't yell in the operating room. The people who move the needle in this world are too focused on execution to worry about applause. So, if you're not being seen right now, don't mistake that for failure. It might be the greatest advantage you have, because in the shadows, without the pressure of performance, you're free to evolve without interference. And when that internal shift becomes undeniable, it won't need to be announced. The world will notice when it's ready. Your silence will break them in ways anger never could. It will haunt them. It will change them. And it will set you free. Stop giving them the satisfaction of a reaction. Your silence will echo louder than any words. It will gnaw at them, keep them awake at night. They'll wonder why you don't care, why their games don't work anymore. And in that wondering, they'll destroy themselves. Rule #3. Your life bends to your assumptions. This is where the magic happens, folks. This is the ultimate mental leverage. What if you assumed right now that everything is working out for you, even when it's hard, even when it's silent, even when there's no proof? What if you lived like the outcome was certain, like the door was already open, and all you had to do was walk through it? That is not wishful thinking. That is mental engineering. And it is how the greatest minds in history rose through failure, criticism, and fear. Henry Ford didn't hope things would work out. He decided they would. He poured his belief into the unknown before the world believed it was even possible. When everyone said the automobile was a fantasy, he built factories. Thomas Edison didn't doubt. After his first 100 or 10,000 failed prototypes, because he assumed success was inevitable, he didn't need to see it. He carried it in his mind and he acted as if it was already his. Most people don't live in that possibility. They live in worry. They wake up bracing for failure. They talk about worst case scenarios. They expect betrayal. They wait for the bottom to fall out, even when life is rising. And because of that expectation, they unconsciously direct their energy toward what they fear instead of what they want. But there's another way to live, a way that doesn't require hype, a way that doesn't demand perfection, a way that simply asks one thing from you: to believe before you see. Because here's the truth: belief isn't a reaction. Belief is a choice, and that choice directs the energy of your mind. The subconscious does not argue with you. It accepts what you feed it, and then it builds around that assumption. If you say things never work for me, your subconscious says understood, and it begins filtering your world through that lens. That's what you start to notice. That's what you start to expect. That's what you attract, not because of magic, but because you stop looking for anything else. Imagine waking up, no matter the circumstance, with this quiet command running in the background: everything is working out for me. Even if you're broke, even if you've been betrayed, even if the path isn't clear yet, you still move like it's happening. You still execute like the doors are already opening. You still build like the foundation is solid. That belief alone, practiced daily, would rewire your entire life. Because when you assume things are working in your favor, you become calmer under pressure. You become more patient in the waiting. You move with power, even when the evidence isn't there yet. This isn't delusion. This is leadership of self. A weak wait for proof. The powerful move is if the proof That's what this mindset gives you. It removes the need for validation. It replaces panic with posture, and it installs a new belief system. The outcome is certain, I just haven't arrived yet. So let me ask you again. What if it all works out? What if the delay was divine? What if the betrayal was protection? What if the confusion was construction? What if the thing you're calling a setback is the exact detour that will introduce you to the version of you actually need? Once you install that assumption, once it becomes your default, you no longer fear the unknown. You welcome it. Because the unknown is not the enemy. It's the evidence that something bigger is forming. And your only job is to keep moving, to build when it's boring, to lead when no one's clapping, to act like the outcome is locked in, even if the scoreboard says you're losing, because the scoreboard doesn't measure your spirit. It doesn't track your faith. It doesn't see what's building behind the scenes. Only you know that. Only you know how deep this decision goes. Say it to yourself right now. I live as if everything is working for me. I don't panic. I prepare. I don't beg for signs. I build in silence, and I will not fold. Because I've already decided the ending. This is not mindset fluff. This is mental warfare. It is the choice to walk through the chaos with order in your mind. Because once you decide how this ends, you don't need to flinch at the middle. Act as if everything works out. And soon it will. Because what the mind accepts, the world starts to mirror. This isn't about being optimistic. It's about being strategically delusional. It's about programming your mind to believe in the inevitable victory. So much so that it starts pulling that reality towards you. Every thought is a seed. What are you planting? Are you planting seeds of doubt and scarcity, or seeds of abundance and certainty? The choice is yours, and the harvest will reflect your mental garden. Rule #4. The more value you give, the more you get. This is the golden rule, the one that underpins all true lasting success. It's not about taking, it's about giving, but not just giving anything. It's about giving value. The market, the universe, life itself, it pays you for the value you contribute. And the more you contribute, the more it gives back. It's a law like gravity, and it cannot be defied. You want to make a fortune? You want to build an empire? Stop asking what you can get and start asking what you can give. What problem can you solve for others? How can you make their lives better, easier, richer? The man who consistently goes above and beyond, who delivers more than he's paid for, who becomes so effective and consistent and deeply valuable that reward becomes inevitable. That's the man who wins. This is the law, and it cannot be faked. The average man says, I'll give more when I get more. But the builder, the man who commands his life, says, I'll give more now and let the rewards find me later. And they always do. Look at Andrew Carnegie. He began as a poor boy in a telegraph office. He wasn't asked to learn how to read and write Morse code fluently. He wasn't required to memorize rail routes, but he did. He went beyond the role, beyond the instruction, beyond the bare minimum. And what happened? The people in power noticed, not instantly, but inevitably. And from that small post, he rose to become one of the richest men in the world. How? He gave value first, without asking, without keeping score, without demand. The man who goes the extra mile makes himself irreplaceable because while others perform the duty, he delivers the result. While others ask, what am I owed? He asks, what else can I give? You must understand the marketplace pays for impact, not intention. It doesn't matter how long you meant to. It doesn't care how busy you were. It only measures results. And those results are multiplied for the man who consistently goes above and beyond. That's where you must live. In the extra mile, the unpaid hour, the unseen effort, the quiet improvement. Because here's the secret no one talks about. The extra mile is the emptiest one. And that's why it's where all the power lives. Everyone wants to get ahead, but few are willing to give more than they're asked. Few wake up early without being told. Few deliver excellence when average is accepted. Few take ownership of mistakes that weren't even theirs. But the few who do, they rise. Thomas Edison did not stop when the world said enough. He worked relentlessly, not to clock hours, but to produce value. Over 1,000 patents, invention after invention. Why? Because he focused not on reward, but on output, and reward followed. And this is why you must detach from immediate return. If you only act when rewarded, you will forever be enslaved by permission. But if you act from principle, from the law itself, you become independent of circumstances. You act not for applause, but because you are the kind of man who does more than what is required. And over time, the world catches up. Henry Ford didn't invent the car. He revolutionized the process. He built something better, faster, more accessible. He didn't stop at good enough. He pushed boundaries. He over-delivered. And because of that, the market followed him. Success is not reserved for the lucky. It is earned by the man who outserves, outimproves, and outlasts. This applies to everything. Not just business. Want better relationships. Give more. Listen more. Be more present. Want a healthier body. Give it more discipline. More clean fuel. More rigorous training. The universe responds to what you put in. It's a simple law. So where can you over-deliver today? What extra detail can you improve? What skill can you sharpen without being asked? What task can you complete better than expected? And once you answer, you do it. Not once, but daily. Until excellence becomes your habit and your name becomes associated with certainty. Because that's the highest currency, certainty of execution. The man who always delivers, even when no one's watching, becomes the man who is always called on when it matters. If you want to advance, if you want to rise, if you want to build a reputation that makes opportunity chase you, not the other way around, then stop asking for more and start giving more. Quietly, relentlessly, with no need for credit, because credit will come. Compensation will come. Recognition will come. But only if you build yourself into the kind of man who doesn't need it. You are not average. You move with excellence, even when no one is watching. And if you repeat that and you live that, you will never lack opportunity again. Because the law is simple. He who gives more becomes more, and he who becomes more will always have more. This isn't about being a martyr or doormat. It's about strategic generosity. It's about understanding that every act of value you put out into the world, every problem you solve, every life you touch, it's all coming back to you multiplied. You're building a cosmic bank account, and the deposits you make are measured in value, not just dollars. Now I've given you the 4 rules. The rules are just words on a screen if you don't integrate them. This isn't just about understanding. It's about becoming. Let's talk about integrating these rules into your daily life. This isn't a quick fix, folks. This is a transformation, a rewiring of your entire being, and it starts with your daily routine. Your daily blueprint for power. Morning domination rule, #1. Be a doer, not a talker. How you start your day dictates how you live your life. It's not just a routine. It's a ritual. That first hour. That's your window, your launch pad, your foundation. Most people give it away. They wake up and reach for the phone, check messages, check the news, check what everyone else is doing. But what they don't check is themselves. They don't ask, what do I want today? What do I need to become? What am I building? If you don't program your mind in the first hour, the world will do it for you. And let me warn you, the world doesn't always have your best interests in mind. It'll feed you drama, distraction, noise, and before you know it, you're reacting to life instead of designing it. So take back that first hour, make it yours. Before the emails, before the scrolling, before the chaos, get up a little earlier. Not because it's trendy, but because it's transformational. Use that hour to build you. Read 10 pages of a good book. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Plan your day. Visualize your goals. Move your body, drink water, sit in silence, do what the old you never made time for. Because here's the truth, if you can win the first hour, you can win the day. And if you win enough days, you win your life. You don't need fireworks and fanfare. You need discipline. You need to decide, train, and build the habit. So, starting tomorrow, make a new deal with yourself before you touch the world, touch your future. Use that first hour not to consume, but to create. Don't just wake up. Rise up. Your future isn't waiting at 11 a.m. It's waiting at 6 o'clock. So take it back. Build it strong. And when the day begins, you'll already be ahead mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. You won't just be prepared. You'll be powerful. Strategic silence and focus. Rule #2. Silence is your ultimate weapon. After you've dominated your morning, it's time to put rule #2 into action. Guard your focus like a treasure. People will try to steal it, not with a gun, but with notifications, favors, and meaningless tasks. Your hour is sacred, strategic, and not for leftovers. If you don't protect it, no one else will. Time is like money, but even more dangerous to lose. You can always earn another dollar, but you'll never get back that hour. So put up a fence. Say, this is my hour. No calls, no emails, no scrolling, no distractions. Not because you're rude, but because you're serious. Get serious about your hour. Like a builder is serious about his tools. Like a farmer is serious about his soil. This hour, if you use it right, will pay you back 100-fold in clarity, in skill, in results, in income, in confidence. But only if you don't trade it for crumbs. Don't trade gold for crumbs. Schedule your hour. Label it, set it in stone. No flexibility, no negotiations. Tell your family, your friends, even yourself, this is my time to grow, to think, to create, to build. And if they don't respect it, teach them to. Not with anger, but with consistency. Because when you value your time, people begin to value you. The rule is simple. If it doesn't grow you, it doesn't get your hour, period. This isn't just about productivity. It's about priority. It's about saying, my future matters enough to defend it. That first hour is your front line. Guard it like it's rare, because it is. It's the hour that separates the average from the excellent, the wanderer from the leader, the talker from the doer. And when it comes to acting as if nothing bothers you, remember to detach from external circumstances. Your inner world is sacred, untouchable. When you embody this mindset, you command authority without saying a word. You move through life with power, with presence, with unshakable confidence. Train your mind daily to pause before reacting. Ask yourself, does this situation truly affect my long-term goals? Is my reaction necessary? Or am I giving away my power by consistently choosing non-reaction? You build an armor that shields you from the trivialities of life. Future pacing and assumption. Rule #3. Your life bends to your assumptions. You must become the person who is already living the life you desire. This means every single day you act as if it's already true. This isn't just about visualization. It's about embodying that future in your actions now. If you want to write for 2 hours every morning for the rest of your life, then start writing for 5 minutes a day, then 15, then 30, then an hour, slowly increasing until you can sustain that lifestyle. It doesn't make sense to wait and put off what you're already going to be doing. If you're not dedicating time and focusing on moving livers towards your ideal future, then you're not going to create it. It's that simple. When you bring your actions from your ideal future into the now, you begin to invest mental energy in that goal. And the more you do this, the more you feel obligated to do it. That's how you build momentum and find passion. You don't just find an action you're passionate about. You start investing mental energy into a goal, do the actions required to get to that goal, and then cultivate passion along the way because you discover things you wouldn't have without that direct experience. This is the law of conceptual survival. Our survival instincts have transcended the physical realm and are included in the mental. We work to survive ideas, concepts, and beliefs that form our sense of self. So if you identify with your future self, if you commit to the actions that embody that identity, your behaviors will align. You'll filter out distractions, identify opportunities, and move with unwavering focus. This mindset shifts your thinking. You stop waking up wondering what the day will bring and start commanding the day to deliver what you have already decided. That's power. That's the beginning of transformation. Every thought you permit, entertain, and repeat becomes automatic. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. To think accurately is to take control of the machine between your ears and force it to deal only with facts, only with logic, only with what can be tested, proven, verified. Anything else is a distraction. Anything else is a trap. You must guard your mind like a fortress. Information is everywhere. Most of it useless. Most of it noise. Most of it designed to manipulate rather than educate. The thinker who wins is not the one who consumes the most, but the one who filters the best. You must learn to ignore 90% of what you hear, read, see, and focus only on what is useful, verifiable, actionable. Do not allow opinions to masquerade as truth. Do not confuse loud voices with wise ones. Do not assume something is right just because it is repeated often. Truth doesn't care how many people believe it. It stands on its own. Accurate thinking is about priorities. What matters? What does not? Where is the leverage? Where is the waste? What is urgent versus important? What is emotional versus essential? Most people confuse movement with progress because they lack the thinking skills to know the difference. They stay busy but produce nothing. They are always in motion but never in direction. Their calendars are full, their minds are scattered, and their goals are forgotten. But the accurate thinker sees through the clutter. He sees what matters, he moves with focus, he strikes with precision. Ruthless value creation. Rule #4, the more value you give, the more you get. This is the foundation of all true wealth and influence. Stop chasing money directly. Chase value creation. When you focus on solving problems for others, making their lives demonstrably better, the money will flow as a natural consequence. You want to build a fortune? Stop looking at others and start looking in the mirror. The person in front of you is your greatest asset or your biggest liability. Know exactly what you want. Vague goals lead to vague results. Define your purpose with absolute clarity, and once you do, commit to it with everything you've got. Burn your ships. Make retreat impossible. Don't wait for support. Don't beg for approval. Don't expect a handout. You are not here to be carried. You are here to conquer. The strongest people build themselves. They rise from silence, from sweat, from struggle. Discipline is your sword. Focus is your shield. Cut through distraction. Guard your vision. While others scroll, you work. While they talk, you act. While they doubt, you believe. You will face failure. You will be ignored. You will be laughed at. Let it fuel you. The moment you start working like no one's watching, the world will start watching. Success is not for the lazy. It doesn't belong to the interested. It belongs to the obsessed, the relentless, the focused, those who choose to sacrifice comfort for greatness. Work on yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Your mindset, your habits, your decisions, those are the architects of your future. So grind in silence, win in silence, focus on your mission, trust the process, work harder than you think you can, and then work harder than that. You are the only one who can do it. You are the only one who must. If you don't know what you want, the world will decide for you. You will drift, you will wander, and your energy will be scattered in 100 directions, doing 1,000 things that don't matter. But when you decide, truly decide, with absolute clarity, what it is you're after, every step you take becomes a weapon. Every breath becomes a choice. Every day becomes war with your weakness and a contract with your future. You cannot build anything great with a vague blueprint. Success demands specificity. It demands you say to yourself, this is what I want. I will have it, and I will not stop until I do. That's the fire. That's the point where life begins to move for you, not before. Once you lock onto that goal, everything else becomes irrelevant. The gossip, the distractions, the outside noise, the opinions of those who haven't done a damn thing with their lives, they all fade into the background, because purpose is louder than noise. Purpose silences doubt. Purpose kills hesitation. Purpose rewires your brain to recognize nothing but the path forward, even when it's uphill, even when it's dark, even when there's no one clapping for you, no one cheering you on. You don't need applause. You need to move. You need to build. You need to become so focused on your own growth that the world has no choice but to step back and watch. Forget waiting on someone to believe in you. That's weakness. That's dependency. You want power? Start believing in yourself with the level of obsession that makes people uncomfortable. You want to win? You better stop hoping and start working. There is no shortcut, no easy way, no secret hack. There is only effort directed like a laser. The difference between the average and the extraordinary is not talent. It's focus. It's the refusal to be distracted. It's the refusal to break under pressure. It's the refusal to waste time being jealous, envious, or bitter. You think the people who are winning care about what anyone else is doing. No, they're too busy. They're too locked in. They're too determined to waste a single second comparing. You have to learn to be alone with your mission. Get comfortable with the silence, because that's where the real work happens. You build your body in solitude. You build your mind in solitude. You build your empire brick by brick while others party, sleep, or scroll through lives they'll never live. This is the sacrifice. This is the grind. And if you're not willing to pay the price, then don't expect the reward. You want to be great? Then act like it. Get up earlier. Stay up later. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming your circumstances. Life is hard. Good. That's where growth lives. That's where the real ones rise. While the weak complain, the strong adapt. While the lazy wait for motivation, the hungry show up anyway. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need everything to be right. You need one thing: work. Relentless, focused, obsessive work. Day after day, week after week, year after year, your results are a reflection of your discipline. Your life is a reflection of your focus. You will not rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your habits. And your habits are either pushing you forward or pulling you under. Choose the discomfort of growth over the comfort of stagnation. Choose effort over ease. Choose to build instead of break, to create instead of complain. Because every time you choose focus over distraction, you get closer. Every time you say no to the things that don't matter, you say yes to your destiny. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be quick, but it is worth it. Every drop of sweat, every lonely night, every sacrifice that makes others question your sanity, that's the price of excellence. That's the tax for greatness. You pay now so you never have to beg later. You work now so you can live on your terms, not theirs. You suffer now so you can lead, dominate, and rise when others fall. Forget the opinions. Forget the doubts. Forget the setbacks. If it knocked you down, get up stronger. If they underestimated you, stay silent and let your results scream. If you lost time, take back the hours and double your pace. This is not a game. This is your life. And every minute you waste wishing, comparing, or hesitating is a minute you could have used to become unstoppable. Go all in. Focus on yourself. Shut out the noise. Work like your future's watching, because it is. And it's waiting on you to show up. You are all you've got, and that's all you need. Until you accept that no one is coming to save you, you will never rise. Stop waiting for someone to show you the way. Stop leaning on the weak scaffolding of other people's opinions, resources, or permission. You are not a follower. You were not born to depend. You were born to dominate. Everything you've been looking for in others already exists within you. The strength, the discipline, the fire, it's there. But until you decide to stand alone, you'll never know the power you're capable of. Nobody owes you anything. Not support, not praise, not a second chance. And the moment you stop expecting, the moment you stop asking and start doing, everything changes. Relying on others for your success is gambling with your destiny. You are placing your future in hands that don't care, won't show up, and have their own battles to fight. If you want it, you have to take it. If you want to lead, you must be willing to walk alone. If you want to rise, it starts when you stop blaming anyone or anything for where you are and start holding yourself accountable for where you're going. Self-reliance is not about arrogance. It's about ownership. You own your mind. You own your time. You own your attitude, your actions, and your outcome. If you want discipline, create it. If you want respect, earn it. If you want to change your life, then change what you do with your hours, your thoughts, and your effort. The second you decide that you don't need a crowd behind you to move forward, you become dangerous. The second you realize you don't need to be understood, liked, or accepted to win, you become unstoppable. That's the shift. That's where strength is born. In silence, in solitude, in those quiet moments when you decide you're done begging and ready to build. No one understands your vision like you do. That's why it's yours. Stop explaining it. Stop defending it. Let them laugh. Let them talk. Let them doubt. While they do that, you get to work. While they post, you practice. While they flex, you prepare. And when they see the result, let them wonder how you did it alone. Let them ask where you found the strength. Let them realize too late that they wasted their energy watching instead of working. You will be tested. You will feel alone. You will question whether the grind is worth it. Good. That's the filter. That's the gate between the average and the elite. Most people can't handle silence, can't handle their own thoughts, can't handle the weight of personal responsibility. They look for distractions, for people to blame, for reasons why they couldn't, instead of finding a way they can. You're not like them. You don't fold. You forge. You take the fire and use it. You take the pain and convert it. You take the isolation and grow through it. You weren't built to be soft. You weren't designed to be carried. You are the engine. You are the fuel. You are the driver. So drive. Get serious about your habits. Get ruthless about your time. Get obsessed with progress. Don't wait for motivation. It won't come. Don't wait for ideal circumstances. They won't arrive. Just move and keep moving day in, day out, without applause, without recognition, without the need to be seen. Because real power doesn't beg for attention. Real power works in the dark and lets success shine the light. The strongest people don't look strong. They just keep showing up. They build while others break. They create while others complain. They fight when no one is watching. And they win when no one thought they could. They didn't wait for help. They didn't cry about what they didn't have. They started with nothing and decided to become something. That's the level you have to live on. No excuses, no dependence, no safety net, just raw focus and the decision to bet everything on yourself. You don't need more people. You need more belief. You don't need validation. You need execution. You don't need a team. You need a reason. And once you have that reason, once you truly understand why you can't stop, why you won't quit, then there is no obstacle that can stand in your way. You become immune to failure, because failure only exists for the person who gives up. And when you rely only on yourself, you never give up. You adjust, you get smarter, you get sharper, you get harder to break. So stop waiting, stop stalling, stop depending. Cut the excuses, cut the noise, cut the comfort. Replace it with hunger, replace it with grit. Replace it with the quiet, cold decision to rise, regardless of who's around to see it. That's what greatness demands. That's what your future deserves. That's what you were built for. Most people want it until it gets hard. But the ones who rise are the ones who grind when it hurts. That's the difference. That's the truth. Persistence is not talent. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's a decision, a ruthless daily decision to keep moving forward. No matter how many hits you take, how long it takes, or how tired you are. The people who build legacies are the ones who don't stop when it's boring, when it's quiet, or when it looks like it's not working. They show up anyway. They don't need motivation. They don't need a crowd. They don't need perfect conditions. They need one thing: progress. That's the standard. That's the level. Hard work is not a moment. It's a mindset. It's not what you do when you feel good. It's what you do when you don't. Discipline is when you show up with the same fire. Whether the world's clapping for you or spitting in your face, that's when it counts. When no one sees, when no one cares, when it's cold, dark, and lonely, that's where winners are made. That's where champions are carved out of chaos. They build in silence and break through in front of the world. Everyone wants to win until they realize how much it costs, how many sacrifices it takes, how much energy it demands. You want to be relentless? Then stop looking for easy. Stop praying for shortcuts. Stop complaining that it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. That's why most people don't make it. That's why most people quit. That's why it's rare. You don't become elite by accident. You don't stumble into greatness. You don't reach the top by doing what's convenient. You earn it through consistency, through repetition, through painful levels of effort that would break the average man. But you're not average. You don't need breaks. You don't need pity. You need results. You need progress. You need to bleed for what you believe in. Because if you're not willing to go all in, then don't expect anything back. Don't expect success to show up for you when you only give half. Don't expect your dreams to come to life when you won't even put the hours in. Every great outcome is built on the back of persistence. Not once, not twice, but again and again and again. When it fails, when it falls apart, when it feels like nothing is working, that's when you press harder. That's when you double down. That's when you stop caring how you feel and start caring about what you're building. Your goals don't care if you're tired. Your future doesn't care if today was hard. It only responds to work. And the reason you're not there yet isn't because you're not good enough. It's because you haven't outworked the problem yet. You haven't shown the universe that you're willing to go farther than anyone else. You think it's supposed to feel fair. You think effort always pays off instantly. It doesn't. Not at first. Not when it matters. There are times when you will give everything and see nothing. That's the test. And most people fail it. They fold, they retreat, they slow down because results didn't show up on their schedule. But not you. You don't back off. You double up. You don't look for proof that it's working. You create the proof with sweat, with pain, with persistence. So ruthless that even when you fall, you land forward. Hard work is not an event. It's a way of life. If you're serious, you don't try. You train, you don't dabble. You commit, you don't hope, you execute, you set the bar higher every day. You attack the hours that others waste. You don't fear failure. You expect it and keep pushing. You don't stop when it's hard. You hit another gear. That's what separates you. Not talent, not background, just raw, violent consistency. You keep showing up when it's boring. You keep showing up when it's painful. You keep showing up when it looks like it's not working. Because you know one truth that weak people never understand. The work always works, just not always on your timeline. So keep going, keep building, keep grinding when it would be easier to quit. Persistence rewrites the rules. It bends reality. It breaks barriers. It forces doors open that stay shut for everyone else. But only if you refuse to back down. Only if you refuse to slow up. Only if you keep rising, even when nothing around you tells you it's working. That's how champions think. That's how winners breathe. They don't take days off. They don't take shortcuts. They don't pray for lighter loads. They train for stronger backs. Every second you waste hoping for easier, you could be building better. Every minute you spend avoiding the hard parts is a minute you're falling behind. So own the work. Own the suffering. Own the pressure and keep moving forward even when your legs shake and your vision blurs. Because that's the difference between people who talk and people who finish. That's the line between average and unstoppable. This is the mindset of true champions. This is the difference maker. Don't be fooled by the flashy headlines and the overnight success stories. Those are the anomalies. The real story is always in the grind and the relentless pursuit of excellence and the unwavering commitment to your vision. So there you have it, my aspiring wolves. The 4 unwritten rules of power that most people will never understand, let alone master. But you're different. You're here because you're hungry. You're ready to play a bigger game. Remember this. Rule #1. The world doesn't reward talkers, it rewards doers. Stop talking about it and start being about it. Rule #2. Silence is your ultimate weapon. Cut the noise, master your reactions, and let your actions speak volumes. Rule #3. Your life bends to your assumptions. Program your mind for inevitable victory, and the world will bend to your will. Rule #4. The more value you give, the more you get. Focus on serving others at an elite level and success will be magnetized to you. These aren't just rules. They're a way of life, a philosophy, a mindset. And mastering them isn't easy. It will demand everything you've got. It will test your resolve, push your limits, and force you to confront the weakest parts of yourself. But on the other side of that struggle, that's where true power lies. That's where limitless success awaits. The world owes you nothing. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you your dream. You get what you earn. You get what you build. And the only way to build something that lasts is to turn inward, get focused, and outwork every excuse, every distraction, every weakness trying to pull you off track. You don't need applause. You don't need comfort. You don't need permission. You need hunger. You need fire. You need the kind of relentless mindset that wakes up every single day with one mission: improve, execute, dominate. This isn't about talent. This isn't about luck. This is about discipline, faith, vision, and execution. This is about showing up when no one else will, believing when no one else does, grinding when everyone else is comfortable. You want a life most people don't have? Then you better be willing to do what most people won't. Cut the noise. Kill the excuses. Focus on yourself. Work hard. Lock in. Stay dangerous. Stay obsessed. Because when it's all said and done, the only thing that separates the average from the unstoppable is this: one kept talking, the other kept building. Be the one who builds. Be the one who finishes. Be the one they remember. So what are you waiting for? The alarm clock just rang. It's time to stop hitting snooze on your potential. Get out there, apply these rules, dominate your day, and then tomorrow do it all again. Relentlessly, unwavering, because the world is waiting for you to unleash the power that's been lying dormant within you. It's time to become the wolf. Now go get it. You hear me? Go get it.